But you went then from that to starting a business in marketing.
So from that kind of time when I was working in the library, there was probably, that was when I started dabbling in marketing. So a friend of mine started a e-commerce business selling physical products online, and I just volunteered to help him out to try and flex some of the skills the theory I'd been learning. I was like, obviously I'm gonna really learn this if I actually do it. So I started doing that because like I already told you, I was learning marketing and psychology, and I was always kind of interested in productivity as well. So I just started flexing it there, and I just, like I said, I had some of that extra time, and I tried to over deliver to the point where he actually gave me a stake in the business. It's like I just helped too much, and so I guess he appreciated that, alhamdulillah, and I ended up working on that business as a focus. At the same time, I had also started sharing the kind of things that I was learning on YouTube, and I was trying to sell that as well as a course. But mostly I was just happy to be sharing stuff and sharing what I'm learning, right? So as I'm going through that, I moved back to the UAE, and I was working on that e-commerce thing. I also got into Amazon FBA as a business as well. So I was selling a few products that I relabeled. You know how the business goes, bro. So
everybody has to go into white labeling first, don't they?
Yeah, exactly, white label. So I tried that out.
I think at one point I white labeled like a telephone system where, like, the system where businesses can like change their standard number to a business number.
Yeah.
And that software you can white label and offer that service out. And I think I did the same with like domain names and stuff like that. I think white labeling is like is a path that you always fall into before you like are weakened.
Yeah. Well, actually, white labeling like software is smarter than white labeling products because perhaps. The investment is not as big. So basically, bro, I was dabbling, and I ended up admitting to myself, look, you're being kind of silly here. You need to go and get a job and get an income, and then with that income you can actually invest it properly, and that's how you're going to actually build a proper business, rather than always like having you just working from your savings or little scraps. So I swallowed that pill. I was like, you know what, I've just got to do it. I don't want to do it, but for the long term this is the best thing. So I got a job in Dubai, and I guess it was kind of a corporate kind of environment. But the crazy thing about that is, and they hired me as a marketer, and that's something interesting for people to maybe take from this, is that I had no marketing degree. I had no formal like experience in marketing. All I had was consumed a lot of content. I had applied it to some level in a couple of businesses with decent results, and what that meant is when I go to an interview I can really talk the talk. And I use this technique that I learned called the briefcase technique, where it's like you walk into the interview and you've got a plan for what you would do for that business if they employed you. And so you can like sell the vision to them of what you're gonna do. And you show them as well that you've already pre-thought of what you would do, and you're bringing value basically to that right from day one to that interview before they've even paid you. So I think that's kind of how I was able to get that kind of first proper job. And they hired me in marketing without any like formal job in marketing or a degree or anything. The problem was I came in there with the false notion, the naive notion, that they actually want value, they want results, and that's kind of what they care about. And then obviously I was quickly, woken up to the reality, which is the manager just wants you to make him look good kind of thing. So, long story short, I got fired after 6 weeks.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah. And they kind of just said like, we feel that like we tell you to do things and you always want to do it another way, right? And honestly, I was naive. Like everyone in the marketing team was like complaining about the manager. So definitely there was truth there in the problems that existed, but you've also got to look at yourself, isn't it? And if I look at myself, I was like a brand new guy going into this and telling the manager, no, that's wrong, we got to do it like this. That's just nuts. But that was my lack of experience, I suppose. But what they said is, you're probably good at what you do, but you just don't fit into this kind of thing. So you should go back and do what you were doing before, which is like consulting or like working for yourself. And so I was like, okay, I guess I take that as a sign. Like a month after getting fired from that job, people that I had been working with before, they're like, oh, so you're free now, like you don't have a job? Well, let's start this marketing business together. And so that's kind of where I've been since then, for the past like 3 and a bit years. We started off as a marketing agency helping mostly Muslim businesses or organizations to grow, and now we focus more on consulting and training. And alhamdulillah, like our vision is to allow Muslims to become the big problem solvers in the world through business, basically. And a lot of the time, marketing is not given the focus that it should get. A lot of time, product is the focus or whatever. So we just, hopefully we can enable Muslims to become those leaders the way they should be, because, Islam is the best framework for achieving any good in the dunya, isn't it? So that's
I agree completely, man.